Well, good afternoon for some on the West Coast, good evening for those on the East Coast, and good day and good night to all those on the outer East and the outer West. My name is Troy Bernier with the Miami International Science Fiction Film Festival, Day 5, After Hours. Saturday is a late night schedule for us. And what we have for you right now is a very interesting lecture that came to us from Willis Wanari in Kenya. You might know that Willis Wanari in Kenya won the first Best Afrofuturism film. Well, this season, 2 years later, he has sent us a lecture which goes into the concept of why he created the film and the ideology behind it all. So I'm going to share with you a small piece of the lecture. And of course, you can take it upon yourself to watch the rest of it. It's still in our queue and it'll be there available for the next couple of days for you. After that short piece, Willis is going to join us all the way from Kenya and fill us in on a few more details. So let's check it out.
Reduction are we talking?
About 60%.
60%? Are you kidding me?
We saw how far we could reach when we were divided.
Can you hear it?
Yes, I can hear it. It's okay.
Do you have any kind of documentation on this painting?
We have just sampled how far we can reach when we are united.
Precisely. Think of this painting as the Mona Lisa in the Louvre.
Now, we have a unique opportunity to see the full extent of what we can achieve when we combine all our efforts as the 7 spheres of the new republic.
I believe that this was the vision that the founders of the new republic had in mind, where the 7 spheres pulled together to help a nation achieve her goals.
See? This is what happens when you rush deployment without any sort of testing.
Who do these trips like guys think they are?
Now, fellow Kenyans, join me as we usher in this new vision.
Hi, my name is Willis, and I'm an executive producer for a film called Kitambo. And Kitambo was a film that actually won the first Afrofuturism Film Award, Best Afrofuturism Film Award at the Miami International Sci-Fi Film Festival in edition 6 back in 2019. And it was a great honor for us. We were really happy. It was our first best of anything to win as a film. And Kitambo was actually produced as a short proof of concept, because we were thinking we've not done so many sci-fi here. There are a couple have been done, but not so many. And we, as a team, had a big project, big idea to shoot, which was called Sayari 47I1. It's a story I'd written back in 2012. And the idea of this story was we were trying to see, it was a story about Kenya, space exploration, and traveling to a different planet. And Sayari means planet. So planet 47I1. And so there's a lot of stuff I had written during that story. And in the concept or manuscript for the story, I had a concept called the 7 spheres of society. Now, these 7 spheres of society is something I had learned in my Christian journey. And it's a concept that was actually, I think when you look at it, first mentioned, I think, during the Campus Crusade back in 1970s. There was something called Campus Crusade. and it was talking about the 7 nations that we want to preach to or to reach out to. And this concept of segmenting the society into certain verticals or spheres or pillars, nations or mountains, those are the words that have been used here. It could be 7, 6, just around that number, is something that is also used in business. For example, business have verticals. I have worked for the last 15 years in IT business, and we had to do segmentation. For example, my first role was as a telecom account manager. So I was going to handle the telcos. We had someone else dealing with banking, someone else dealing with either manufacturing or something else. And every organization I went to, most often we had that segmentation. For example, when I worked for a telco now, Telkom Kenya, they also had that. We had separated first as 2 big groups. There's what you call the consumer market or mass market. Then you have the B2B or business to business market or enterprise sales. And in this enterprise sale, we split it again into corporate sales, and we had SME, small, medium enterprises market. That then within the corporate, we now again split it into public sector, private sector. Within private sector, you had manufacturing, banking, all those things. So you had account managers, an account manager running through selling to banks, a team selling to the government. And so it's a way to be able to reach the society in terms of, you're saying, for example, banks, financial institutions, bank, it's called BFSI, banking and financial services institutions. They consume certain things very differently from how manufacturing would consume it or government would. So if you're going to create a strategy about how you're going to reach government, for example, you would need to have created that particular product or speak a language that sector understands. So it's the same thing when these campus crusaders were looking, and they were saying we need to reach out to this, what they're calling nations, and if you have to reach to them, and they call it the marketplace, you need to speak a language that marketplace understands. So this is now the spheres of society.
All right, this is the spheres of society. How you doing, Willis?
I'm doing well, Troy. How have you been?
All right, man. It's been quite a many months.
Yes.
Good to see you. Good
Same
to see
here.
you. So tell us a little bit more about how does this work?
Daddy, Mama wants you.
Okay. It's always at the best time.
Lenny, can you
I think. Hi, pass my regards. Yeah, so, well, the spheres of society, for us, as I said, the whole idea is something that is very common in the world. We segment society based on different segments that we would want, or sectors that we feel we want to reach out. And the way it's being used in our film, a short film, Kitambo, is we look at society as being segmented. Currently, as I mentioned, if you watch the actual lecture, I talk about how, Kenya, we have 42 tribes, and from the 42 tribes, it's how normally we look at our society. But we revisioned a society in the future, which is now segmented based on these 7 spheres. And the whole idea of these 7 spheres is because we are considering a merit-based approach to getting leadership or to building society. So we're saying, instead of us viewing ourselves as tribes, which soon enough we are foreseeing a situation where, because of a lot of intermarriage that is happening, the tribal influence will reduce. But we are saying we start looking at ourselves based on these 7 spheres, and to get into the 7 spheres, you have to prove yourself. For example, if you're going to be a scientist, obviously you have to prove yourself to get to that level of being a scientist, or if you want to be in the religious sphere, you have to prove yourself. And once you prove yourself into that sphere, then you work towards doing everything to build society. So everything is worked towards a common goal, though you're segmented, but you have a common goal and a common vision. When we look at ourselves based on tribes, it's very individual. It's very, our tribe first, I will employ my tribe mate or stuff like that, which doesn't help society in general, But once you look at a segmented approach where we say, right now those segments exist. It's only that they're not defined as a general thing in the society. And we are not saying that's the society we are hoping to come up with, but for the purpose of our story, it does help us when we look at it this way and we say, things have gone because of tribal, we've had clashes in the past and stuff like that have affected our society. We're saying we revision, we say, there's challenges that is coming out of this view of ourselves as tribes. But if we did look at ourselves in terms of these sectors, then we can actually be able to build better societies. So that's how we're looking at it. Yeah. So I think there's a lot more details that you can get once you go into the lecture. You can be able to appreciate more the influence. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the lecture goes into considerable detail. This was just a fragment of it. So as far as the film is concerned, you envisioned all of these things in place, or should I say in harmony, all these efforts in harmony, which allows the people to build upon a much more advanced civilization in rapid pace, where, and of course, folks, you have to, check out the film too. That's a separate segment. So I'm not going to give it all away, but in the film, what year was it set?
20. So the current in the present in the film is 2060. It's actually around
2060s, and in the 2060s, due to Kenya's geographic location, it made it very easy to get ships into space. So that is what also helped boost the space industries in Kenya, alongside of the massive efforts of synchronizing the society with these 7 different approaches. So I think that's quite nice. Can you elaborate a little bit on how this has presented itself with, how this message has presented itself with some of the other festivals that you have encountered?
We started, as I mentioned, even in the beginning of the segment you played, is our first Best of Anything. We got it from Miami Film Festival. We had taken it to several festivals beforehand. And the good thing with, if you know about film, Film Freeway, once you put your film there, you can always keep improving on it as you take it to festivals. So as we would get feedback, we'd keep improving on it. And immediately it was actually my first festival to attend. The Miami Festival was the first one. And, being there, meeting all these great filmmakers, I got a lot of feedback, positive criticism that I went back, and also just watching films that were done in those 3 days or 4, I think it was 4 days we were there. When I got back, I watched my film, I remember the big screen, and I felt, I need to change a lot of things. So I came back, tried to fix, up to the level I could, because there's only so much you can do. And then I threw it back out there. And so it started getting picked up by a few more festivals. The Columbus Black International Film Festival picked it up.
Where were they?
Columbus, Ohio.
In Columbus, Ohio.
Yes. And then the other film festival that picked it up was the Urban Media Makers Film Festival, which is
Urban Media Makers. Okay.
Yes, and in their 18th edition, and there we won a Best Afrofuturism Film from Africa film award. And then also locally, we have a film festival, not a film festival, but like an awards film award called Kalasha Film and TV Award, and we won actually this particular.
Oh, Brett, let us see it. Let us see it.
Yes, so we won for this is it's called best. I don't know if you can see it clearly. I think there's a bit of reflection
There's a
there.
glare.
Yeah, so we best special effects at the Kalasha in 2019. So that year was a great year for us. We got a couple of great awards, and I think for me it was a lot more to do with the feedback that we got. And in every festival we went or we put it out to, we received it, we won a couple of it's called awards of merit and awards of recognition across different festivals. So we did well, and the film, to be honest, was not put out to be. We were not even planning initially to take it to festivals. We were doing a proof of concept that we were challenging ourselves. Is it possible to actually do this? And then someone said, "Why don't you just put it out to festivals and see how it goes?" And so.
Right.
So we're grateful and we're happy. And I don't know if you can see it. It's up there. I still have it.
Let us see. Let us see. Let us see.
Well, it's kind of locked. It will be a whole process getting it out. Yeah.
Oh, I see that. Oh, that's the award. Oh, yes.
Yes, the best Afrofuturism film award from Miami.
Yes.
So that was for us a big. I know the team really loved it, and considering we got 3 awards, also one for best supporting actor for Dan Otieno, and also the Beacon Award for being the first Kenyan film there. So all those were very important for us, and we appreciate the festival. That's why we love.
Yeah. No, awesome. We have a little message here from someone that you may remember.
Okay.
Greg Lucy.
Oh yeah.
He's watching, and he's so hi to Greg. Say hi to Greg.
Hi Greg. Hi. How are you?
Yeah,
long time,
folks. Greg, I guess he's in California or something.
Yeah.
But
that's what I'm saying. It was great meeting filmmakers, great actors.
That year, I want to say that year was around 80 films, and we had somewhere around 35 films represented.
Yes.
So a lot of people from different countries came out, which was nice.
Yeah.
So as far as the how do you see the industry of Kenya's the space industry? How do you see the space industry there? Is there any activity going on with the space industry?
Yeah, so like how we address it also in the film, it was really interesting because there are many people who did not know the history that we did mention in the film about 1964 and Luigi Broglie, spaceport that is in a town called Malindi off the shores, and it was established there in 1964 by the Italians and also NASA. And they used to launch rockets from there, and it's a history that is not, like I know there are complaints in the US about certain parts of history not being well taught. This is one thing we didn't learn in our history books for some reason. I actually visited that site once, and we've actually been in the space, being involved in astronomy and space since then, and actually, very recently, the University of Nairobi actually launched. It was a satellite, a small satellite box that was. I think they actually launched it. Was it in the US? So we have something that we already. The future is still there. There's a lot of talk, not only in Kenya but across Africa. There's a lot of the space exploration growing. It will take time, but we're on that journey already. So it seemed far-fetched when you wrote the story, but it's actually
they're called small. Those small satellites you're speaking of, they're called small sats.
Yes.
They're called small sats, and they can do a myriad of things depending on what they're designed for. They're not designed for many different functions, but typically they can do things such as measure infrared, some photography or radio telemetry type stuff they'll use to measure what's going on with the atmospheric layer. and other things too. But they usually they typically do not have many different functions. The good thing about it is that you're able to put a probe in low Earth orbit
Yeah.
or further. Someone I think I read a paper a year ago where they were sending some of these things to the moon to do some additional surveying on the moon. So it depends on the application and the type of instrumentation and how much money, of course, you really want to spend.
Yes.
But it's at the stage where, any country can put up a small sat right now. It can happen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot. I mean, the good thing here, it was being done by the university, so it means it's really preparing the new generation to start thinking about those ways. And it was humble beginnings, but you can grow to do big things.
Yeah. In
Someone
fact,
would try and argue Elon Musk is still, an African because he was raised in the SA or stuff like. But that doesn't limit. Actually, he is inspiring a lot of Africans to start thinking beyond just the normal.
I want to say, I'd have to look at a map, but there is a West African nation that put up a small sat. They put up their own weather satellite.
Yeah.
That's what it is. They put up their own weather satellite. That was either last year or the year before. But I remember that it was a really big deal over there. And once again, this is something that you could operate, with the technology, you could operate it from your home office. It totally can be done that way. It's all possible, depending on what you're using it for. So that's very neat. So tell me one other thing. Have there been any other or new sci-fi Kenyan films?
There are, there's Chuma, obviously, by Faith, who last year, I think, won Best Director for Short Film at the festival, as well as...
famous. Yeah, I'm talking beyond this.
Beyond this, well, right now, actually, the film industry, we are noticing some... there's a lot of production that is happening that is... very, what can I say, it's encouraging in terms of where we're heading as far as that is concerned. I've not seen new sci-fi as such, but there's a lot of production when it comes to action films, when it comes to mystery films, when it comes to so there's a lot that is happening. There's actually a film that is expected, I think, is it end of this month, that is an action film that is, you can see a lot of investment that has been done on it, and so this is what we are hopeful, because I mean, like Kitambo was mostly self-sponsored. We came together, put whatever little money we had for in terms of independent film, and we put it out there, and so we are hopeful. And we went through all the journey from just doing the film, from pre-production to some level of distribution, putting it out in cinemas, and so that we were learning in the process, and so we are seeing that it's being picked up. There are a couple of films that are going to Netflix, Kenyan films as well, and so we are hopeful. That and it's just a matter of time. Someone else will put out another sci-fi. We're already in development, working on the feature film version of Kitambo, the 20 Sayari 47 one that I mentioned in the lecture when you watch it. And so we want to do it right, and so we are taking time with it, so that eventually when you put it out, it will be something worth watching.
Yeah, because if you're able to produce a feature, that's the best way to monetize your efforts.
Yes.
The shorts are great, calling cards. They're great for learning and presenting new ideas. But it just helps if you can, let it run, let the camera run a couple more hours and grab some more scenes. And, if you're able to have a good story, you'll be able to get yourself a feature. And, of course, it's not as easy as doing a short, even though there's some shorts that I've seen that are extremely challenging. But you have a chance to monetize your efforts, with those. So I'm always looking forward to hearing my phone ring. Hey, we have a feature coming out next year.
Yeah.
Send it in. We want to see. We have to.
We are hopeful that I think we have a lot of the story to tell, and so we, even when we were looking at it with the famous as well, Faith is the plan is we are thinking based on the story we have. That's just the shortest it can be is a trilogy if we can get to do that. I mean, first you have to do the first feature, then you get the second and the third. But yeah, if you are to tell the story in full, it will be like a trilogy, 3 films at least. Because we're going into depths about certain stuff, and as I said, the concept itself is just to help carry the whole story along, and to show how to reference something that they usually say in the Bible. Before there was when they're building the Tower of Babel, because the guys were united in what they were doing, then they're able to really go very fast to the point where they had to be stopped, because they were united. And so that's what you're saying, even with the film. So long as you're united in doing something good, in doing something right, then you can go very far. Even when you're united to do something bad, you can go very far. But the whole idea doing something right, and the only thing that is holding back a lot of African countries is that approach where you have a common vision and you disregard all these things that then divide you. You look at things that bring you together, and you can be able to move fast. And that's the whole purpose of the concept. How we use it, yes, it's segmented, but everyone doing their best in their specific sectors, but with a common goal towards building better society.
All right, so I guess that was the takeaway, and once again, Willis, we're really thrilled to have you, man. We're very surprised that pretty much on the other side of the planet. Even below the equator, on the other side of the planet, below the equator,
or on the equator.
Actually, that's right. It's on the equator. Kilimanjaro. So wow, all the way from there, and beaming in. So that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Willis. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your probably 4 o'clock in the morning over there.
Yeah, 6. It's almost 6 now. But thanks. As we said, we're always happy with being part of the festival, working with the team. And thanks for having us. Last year we participated, not as, at least Famous was there and we were watching. Yes, so
very nice person.
Happy to be part of the festival.
Yeah, very nice, very nice person.
Fortunately or unfortunately, because of COVID, it has allowed us at least somehow to still be able to participate remotely, virtually. So thanks again for having us.
Sounds good. Thank you again. See you soon.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers. Bye for now.
Bye.
All right, folks. How was that? That was awesome. So you heard it from the horse's mouth there. That Kitambo and has got they've got momentum, and they're putting together a great story, and their seven societies concept is come together. It's a beautiful thing. If you enjoy what you hear, I ask you to definitely take a look at us. Just look at the description in the video here, and you'll see the link to our festival server where you can watch the lecture. All right. Thank you so much. See everybody again. We will have another, actually, we are bringing a world premiere to you right now. You'll see it in just a couple minutes. A world premiere from In the Losha. That's coming up next.
This is Hugo Gernsback. Some of you may know him as this guy.
My grandfather was a seer. I mean, he was able to predict the future.
Some of the things he saw coming include Skype, interactive television.
He prepared the ground for what was going to be a huge, huge cultural influence.
Online dating, space mining, social networks.
He didn't just start the first science fiction magazine, he started the first 5 science fiction magazines.
Hoverboards, Superman, and spaceships with a familiar shape.
He pretty much defined the pulp era.
There was a kind of instinctive genius. It's instant, it's flashy, it's fast, it's colorful, and it's sexy as hell.
Although some would call him the greatest nightmare of science fiction.
It all starts with the idea that you can tell science through stories. And that's where wisdom comes from.
Hugo Gernsback's really got lost to history, and it is a shame that he's been forgotten in that respect, because he was trying to achieve something quite significant.
We need Gernsback now to restore the public's faith, trust, and hope in science.
Every day come flyer was waking me up. We were you escaping from. Every day bird calls, let me fall asleep. When memory comes to mind, the blue night holds you tight like a mother. The silent light that shines on you. Whenever, wherever we are children of this Mother Universe, the morn comes when we lose our memories behind the night falls. When we get our memories back.
All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, introducing In the Losha.
And then loop through again.
The codes are all the same. 0, 2, 2, 0. So really easy. That's how it's
Like this. Obviously
And
strong.
then we open it up, and as you see,
What's best is it goes really fast. You know how to do it.
Lance, I'll copy blade down there. I'm gonna have to cut it and retie the trap. I need the blade.
From now on, I heard him say, hey, baby's gone away. I am told how to stay. Hey, time to go away. Open up and I'm out of breath. Open ears, but I can't hear it. Walked enough souls are peeling. What is this? Change of day. Hey, sun has spun away. Open up and I'm out of breath. Open ears, but I can't hear it. Looked enough as I've seen. So you to just where am I? Don't understand. Oh, someone take my hand. Open up, but I'm out of breath. Open ears, but I can't hear it. Not enough souls are peeling. I am now melting down, sunken nights all around. Leave outside, I know. Distant lights black and brown. Go on, trying, reach out, dying, sing down, move on, start. open eyes, gazing and hands, torn on time, hurting it go. I left my mind, I've forgotten. Then is gone, I'm lost on my own. I realize I'm not being alone, sharp bleeding hold me back, swinging at nothing. You painted the house while I laid in the yard. Jake, I'm sorry. You know I'm not. And Jake, forgive me. Those days are gone. Mom, I'm sorry. I slipped. I've done, and Mom, forgive me. I'm no man, I'm no man. Speak with me, speak something real. Please tell me what I have to. If it's not golden, it's broken. To pull the bed in 10 years, I'm gone. Jake, I'm sorry. You know I'm not. And Jake, forgive me. Those days are gone. Mom, I'm sorry. I slipped. I'm done. Mom, forgive me. I enter data. I enter people. Salad for I can't set him open. Not enough cold feet. Tiny room, no. I'm only human, constant and waiting. Glass in my face, brighter than Graceland, sifting through letters, cut on the paper, spinning my chair with no one is listening. No one is listening. No one is listening.
Is it 12?
No, it says 11.
Let's take it up to 12, please.
12.
All right, now, unit descent. Only 5. Thank you. And getting ready to initiate. Now, please.
I'm going.
What's our heart rate at?
120/30.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and push. Step.
I say I mean it. Go out and yell this. Lay down, I'm useless. Get up, you can. I don't believe it. It's hard to think with these thoughts that are split. Get up, but you can't get. Get up, but you can't get. I watch it all slide out of view. In and out, go I miss the comfort of the moon and you.
Wow. How'd you like that, folks? That was an awesome visual album. And you just watched Retail Space. Group is called Retail Space. Retail Space is that's Izzy and Jacob. This is the album called In the Losha. And this was shot in a very beautiful part of Southwest Florida. It's a place called Boca Grande. And in my opinion, that area is the nicest part of South Florida. Have you ever heard of Sanibel, Fort Myers, Captiva? In particular, Sanibel and Captiva. Not very far from that, just north of it. Nice little chain of islands. Very beautiful, quiet, lazy, quiet place in Southwest Florida. And you can tell they put a lot of work into the production of this visual album. The director is Judith Posey. And that once again, that's Izzy and Jacob from Retail Space. And the album is called In the Losha. And we are thrilled that they sent this to us. It is what I would describe as multidimensional. It was a multidimensional journey they were on. Thank you very much for that, guys. We really, really appreciate it. And we're going to probably play it again. All right. So with all that said, we are now going off into some more events back in the festival. So there are 2 more sessions that you have to check out. And that is Action Stations is still going on. Surfing in the Thunderdome is just now completing. That's an Afrofuturism session. And then after that is Adult Animation at 11:20. For all the pass holders, we have a tailgate party starting very, very soon. See you guys on the other side. Remember, Retail Space in the Losha. Really good.